Welcome back. This is Aquarium Hacks by Marcus. So, of course, wintertime is here, and a lot of us is thinking about heaters and aquarium heaters for our fish tanks. And I'm going to show you just a few examples of some aquarium heaters that some of us might have. Now, I'm going to do them from way back in the day. So, way back in the day, we used to have, heaters like this that would sit in the back of the tank. These are not submersible, but they would sit in the back of the tank and they would heat your aquarium. And actually, these old style heaters, at least in my opinion, this is an old one, but they last for years and years and years. Kind of make you think about what happened to the quality of a lot of heaters nowadays that don't last that long. Some only last for a month or so. And then we, of course, went in and we started to get submersible heaters like this little heater here from Amazon. It submerges completely under the water, and so we started submersible heaters like that. And then we started to get the heaters that were similar to the aquarium co-op heaters, or shall I say these heaters that were from China. This is an AAQ, but then they came out in little cases like that. And there are also heaters as well. Let me show you here, which I think they don't make enough of these as they used to back in the day, but the external canister filters. So let me show you here. Avoid all my junky room. But anyway, right here, you see that? That is an external canister filter from Hydro or a Hydro. They used to make the external heaters for your canisters, which I thought those were really great, really good. So just give me a second here. I get the camera back on me. And so I just wanted to first show just a few examples of some heaters that are available today. So for me personally, I think some of the best heaters that were ever made, in my opinion, at least for longevity, were brands like Eheim. Were definitely one of some of the best heaters made. A lot of people overlook these little cheap ones like this one back in the day that hung on the back. Now, some of them probably did fail, but I don't know. I've had several of these back in the day, and they last, just like I said, for years. And my best heater, which you don't see many of them today, were the external canister filter heaters, because those heaters were so efficient in heating up your tank. They would, your filter would go through that heater, and it would heat that water up as it was coming out into your tank and just blew out all throughout your tank, really making it an effective heater and really making it cost effective as well, because it heated your tank up so well. I don't use that external heater as much, and it's been on my tank for years. I put two Fluvo 300 watt heaters in my tank. But I do use it when I do a large water change and my temperature drops, really low, and I want to heat that water back up really quick. That heater definitely does do the job there. And I use it for a backup heater, but it is definitely a good heater. I still use it, and it's been with me for many, many, many years. It used to be actually the only heater that I would use to heat up a tank up to 100 gallons or so. And that was just a 300 watt heater. So, just talking about that being only a 300 watt heater, why is it when you get some heaters for your aquarium, why do some take so many wattage to heat up your aquarium? So I'm just going to give a quick demonstration here and I've got it here in front of me. Take, for instance, you go to Amazon and you have this Hydro heater from Amazon. And this is what they look like, because I can show it on camera if it fit. But you get these Hydro heaters, okay? And on these Hydro heaters, you have here, which you can't see that, but anyway. But you have here on these Hydro heaters, it takes 300 watts to heat anywhere between 40 to 80 gallons, right? 300 watts, okay, 40 to 80 gallons. But if you go to Eheim heaters, it only takes 150 watts to heat 79 gallons. less wattage, over half the wattage of what it takes for a Hygger heater to heat up to 80 gallons. Now, of course, you take these measurements with a grain of salt. If it says it heats up to 80 gallons, I would say it would probably only heat maybe officially, probably between 65 and 70 gallons if you just had one of those heaters. So it's always good to have two. But I'm just saying, you look at you look at these, brand heaters that are not as popular or is not as efficient, like the Fluvels or like the Eheims, and you're going to be paying more for the wattage than you are, for your electricity bill than if you would get you a good name brand heater that would heat up more gallons for less wattage. Take, for instance, again, this Hygger heater. And I'm not speaking nothing bad about Hygger. I think Hygger makes some good products. Now, their heaters are hit or miss. But you take, again, this Hygger heater. Okay, you have, look how many watts here. 800 watts. 800 watts will heat between 80 and 220 gallons. That takes 800 watts to start off heating 80 to 220 gallons of that's 800 watts. That's a lot of wattage, okay, on your electric bill. But then you go to this Eheim, okay, and you can get a 300 watts that will heat up to 264 gallons. 264 gallons, 300 watts. Less than half of this 800 watt Hygger heater, which will only heat, according to them, the maximum of 220 gallons. Now, of course, the Eheim is very smart when they make the heaters. They make them, huge. They're big heaters, right? Even though they're big heaters, the wattage is relatively low compared to the tank size that it can heat up. So you're not going to be spending as much money on your electricity as you would if you was like buying a Hygger heater or something like that. There's a lot of other brands out there that just takes an amazing amount of wattage just to heat your water up. Now, here's one that really gets me. It's on Amazon. This is Hygger again. It takes 1,000 watts. 1,000 watts. We're getting almost up to what some of these electric heaters heat. The electric heater heats about 1,500 watts, but 1,000 watts to heat for 130 to 260 gallons of water. 1,000 watts. My Fluvo heaters that I have in there will heat up to about 80 gallons, 300 watts. I could put maybe a few, maybe 3, 4, get 3 or 4 Fluvo heaters that will heat efficiently because they're spread out throughout the tank, that will heat just as much as this will. And I'm not spending out, that many wattage for a heater. And when you're getting up to 800 watts and 1,000 watts, you got to watch, when you're putting it into your receptacles, because you can overload your receptacles, with all the other equipment that you got plugged in there, lights and filters and stuff. You can UV sterilizer. You can overload your receptacle and cause your receptacle to bounce off, to turn off. So, is it worth going for a cheaper model heater, even though you might get it cheaper, but yet it takes up more money in your electric bill, and it takes more wattage to heat your tank, and the quality of it might not last as long anyway? And so what I'm just trying to say to you folks here on Aquarium Hacks, please get a quality heater, something that's going to not run you so much money on your electricity, something that's going to heat your tank efficiently with less wattage, but yet being very effective in heating your aquarium. I always say, have at least 2 heaters in your tank, because even if a heater is larger, and it does heat up, just in case if it fails one day or something happens to it, you always got a backup heater in your tank. So it's always good to have 2 in your tank anyway. But just to let you know, I used to have a 135-gallon tank, and I had one Eheim 300-watt heater in that tank, and it heated the whole tank up. No problems at all. No problems at all. So these are some things to think about. And some other things that helps heat your tank up too is, of course, the wattage in your filters. They also throw out a little wattage power here and there, not much to really contribute to much, but it contributes a little bit into helping to heat your aquarium up. So keep your wattage in mind when it comes to heating your tank. Know that you need 3 to 5 watts per gallon, and save yourself some money. Please buy a quality heater that won't fail on you and that won't cost you so much money on your electric bill to try to keep your tanks warm during this wintertime. Okay, that's all for now. I'll see you on the next video. Aquarium Hacks out. Keep on hacking.